Hello, Huskies, and welcome to AI Skills for the Modern Job Hunt. Our agenda today is to talk about considerations for when using AI, fundamentals for using AI in career readiness and prep, using AI to explore jobs aligned with your values and interest, and wrapping up with resume and cover letter utilizing AI. As of now, this workshop is constantly going to be evolving because AI is also evolving. So be aware that no one is an expert here. This is just a way to kind of introduce some ideas and topics of ways you can use AI in your career job hunt readiness preparation, and not the solution or answer. It is constantly changing. You all, if you have used AI, have probably already foreseen and seen some ways you can use it. And if you're a beginner today, hopefully this will give you some ideas of how you can utilize it to your advantage. All thinking, of course, of the considerations of when using it, and then how it can help you in your job search and preparation. So considerations when using AI. Before using AI, it's key to recognize and be vigilant of its shortcomings. We're going to go down this list of kind of considerations to think about and really focusing on what to think and what to consider. Be aware of hallucinations. So hallucinations are misleading information or false. AI is not the answer for everything. It does say some false information. It's trying to give you an answer. It's always wanting to find an answer. So it may give you something that's either outdated or completely incorrect. So if you're using it to find complete answers for big questions, you have to make sure that you are also doing a little bit of extra research to verify that it is correct. AI platforms may not always be up to date with the latest industry trends or specific job market demands. That is important to keep when you're using to look for jobs. It is not a job search platform. It can provide you of maybe top industry leaders, top companies, but that again could be updated. So one more time, just making sure that when you're looking into these suggestions that AI will provide for you, keeping aware that it could be a hallucination, there could be some information that may be outdated, and to make sure that you're checking and verifying that information too. AI tools rely on online data, so entire fields that are not well represented online could be missed. So if you're looking for smaller companies or specific niche organizations, they may not be online, or they may not be prevalent, or they may be new and their information is not up to date or on any kind of online platform, since AI relies on that. So being aware that if you're going for a little smaller, it could provide you hallucinations, or it may be a little bit of, it may not be encompassed. So always take that into consideration when you're using AI, that not everything is well represented. And the last thing, amongst many, there are other things, but this is the four that we're focusing on today: environmental support and making sure that we are being cognizant of how AI is being used in the big picture. Each prompt that you submit into AI, which is when you write something and you press enter, is equivalent to using one water bottle of one water bottle. So I want you to think about that. These databases that use AI, they overheat, there's a lot of information, so it uses a lot of energy, and that impacts our society, our area, the community that's close to that database hub. There's a lot of things that go into play that those who invented AI, are still trying to figure out environmental impacts. But there are a lot of environmental impacts. So being efficient with your prompts, which is hopefully the prompts that we give you today, try to really be efficient with it. The ones that we've provided, our goal is to give you that efficiency, and avoid small, random, thank you, you're the best, anything like that, because again, it does not support the energy efficiency of the software. So it is a great resource, but try not to be too, try to be efficient with the prompts that you're using and how you communicate it with AI. So AI in career preparation is an awesome next resource and step. We started off, if you can look at the pictures in front of you, it started off as a newspaper for help wanted, where you were using stuff like the newspapers, to hot jobs on bulletin boards, to LinkedIn, and now AI is a really great tool to hub all of that information as well. It's getting there. It's being used as a streamlined service, and it again supports efficiency. So as a student or alumni, we recommend you use it as a resource to begin your preparation. And the ways that we're going to talk about today are just ideas of how you can use it to maybe start thinking about your career readiness. So using AI in career preparation, we're going to go back to those prompts. Remember how we said one water bottle for each prompt? We want to make sure that you're being efficient and impactful with your prompt writing. So using prompts, for example, that is just very vague, like write me a story, or in the example in front of you says, give me the recipe for my favorite cake. AI doesn't know you. It's like talking to a stranger in the bus and you're asking a question, and without any context of who you are or what you're trying to do, it doesn't know how to give you the appropriate information. Now, will that stop it? No, it will still try to give you information, but it may not be targeted towards what you need. So you need to make sure that you are training the bot, or at least giving it the information and context to give you more efficient answering. So you're not going back and forth trying to figure out, that you're trying to be the first prompt or maybe a few more after that. You're really getting the bot to know what your needs are. And so providing context and structure is important. So what that looks like is, in this example in front of us, the generic prompt: give me the recipe for my favorite cake. It doesn't know what kind of cake you like. It doesn't know what flavor. It doesn't know what size. How many people does it have to feed? What is this cake for? Is it a birthday cake, or is it just a random cake? Versus a targeted response, a targeted prompt: you're an experienced baker who specializes in German cakes. Provide a recipe for a two-tier cake that is gluten-free and nut-free and needs to feed 25 people. That is exactly this is just a very broad, generic example, but to show what a small prompt can be and what it should be, because you want to get the best information from your AI connection and communication. There is an awesome video by Jeff Su, who's a product manager, and he shares AI insights on YouTube about crafting an ideal prompt that you can find on our resource tool on our website. And it'll also be a great tool for you to look up right now to see how to write a prompt. Now, we're moving to the next phase of using AI to identify our values, interests, and job titles that align with that. Now, if you've never done this with AI, it's a great way to reflect on yourself and get to know what you're perceiving and putting out into the world as a professional. So step one is identifying what are your values and interests, and using AI to break it down with you. So when you know what your values and interests for a career are, it helps you have a productive search and career placement for the future. AI can help you reflect on how you describe yourself to others. This is super helpful, because if you're getting a response from AI that is not relevant to what you've been talking about or the context you're providing, maybe you're not articulating your interests and values correctly. Maybe you're doing it in a way communicating that wrong, and that's helpful to be reflective on, because that means that maybe your interviews, your resumes, your cover letters, your essays are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's a reflective opportunity. It's also a way for you to identify terminology that you can use in your application materials, because you have reflected on your values and interests that show strengths, that show passions, and that's super helpful to be able to utilize that in your interviews, your resumes, and your cover letters. So for an example prompt, we're going to go off of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is trying to figure out his interests and values. So we have two different platforms here: ChatGPT, which a lot of us are familiar with, and Cloud. I'm going to go ahead and open up the ChatGPT prompt as well as the Cloud one. They both have the same prompt. These are both the same prompts, and if you notice, they are lengthy. We are asking AI to act as a strategic career coach with expertise in psychology, workforce trends, and personal development. This is the context. We want it to be this specific person. We then give it a task. Your task is to guide me through thoughtful questions, question by question dialogue, to uncover my core workplace values, natural strengths, etc. Your ultimate goal is to help me have a clear consensus of who I am as a professional. This is a great prompt, and it's going to go one by one. So we're not just having to answer all these questions at once, but it has a conversation with you. And this is the best thread to continue on your career preparation. So it can pull from your past reflections. So as you go down, this is the example with SpongeBob, like we said. It asked me, think about a time when you felt alive at work. We talked about the Krabby Patty as a cook, that he loves working with coworkers, and he likes to be meaningful with his customer satisfaction. ChatGPT did really great. And with the words I was using, it showed that I like being a part of a team, staying busy, that I like to be fast-paced and active environment. Do I agree with does SpongeBob agree with all this? Maybe not so much the mastering competency, but maybe the other ones. And talking to AI about that, and either building on it or asking it to reflect one more time. But it did give me the second question, which I answered once again, and it gave me more words about my passions in the world. So as it continues going to get to know me, this is a great way to have a conversation to identify those values and interests in a career. This is using ChatGPT, and if I come over here, we use the same exact prompt for Cloud, but I wanted to show you how it looks a little different. If you notice, it does not provide like the breakdown as much, but it is still a very friendly approach. Even the text looks different. but it's not wrong. It's still just as wonderful. So just to show you how I can look at things a little differently, I just wanted to show you a comparison of the different platforms you can use, and you choose which one you prefer that works best for you. So as we continue, that is again identifying values and interests. And we found a few interests and values: collaboration, loves working, loves improving themselves with SpongeBob. Now we go on to step 2, which is identifying companies or roles that align with those values and interests. So AI can help you identify job titles and companies that are targeted towards those interests. You can even ask for suggested companies and location. So what are the best companies in Seattle or somewhere else? And then go to each company's website to find current jobs. Again, AI is not a job search platform, but it can provide you the companies and maybe some resources to use so you can see if there are current jobs, what that company also partakes in and what it has. But it's a really cool tool to be able to utilize to summarize a lot of the information that you might be looking for from your values and interests, or just jobs in general. You do not have to do step 1 to do step 2. Feel free to just jump straight to step 2 using the following prompt. We're going back to SpongeBob, and we're also focusing on a different platform. So Perplexity is different, and we're going to talk about how that looks once I go through the prompt. So we switched up our person. We still have an experts career strategist, but this person is focusing on current labor trends, emerging strategies, top companies, relevant job titles, and transferable skill paths. So we're giving a really big context of what kind of career strategist this is, and then it goes into the task of how we want this information and how that's going to work. Feel free, this is something you can pause here and copy and paste this information or type it out again. This will be accessible on our resource on our website as well. So with this prompt, Perplexity provided me with, and here are the skills, forgive me because it did ask a few skills. Let me scroll down. Provided me with some job titles, why this is a strong match, high sectors, qualifications, experience, future outlook for this one job title. So this can give me an idea of what that looks like. What I love about Perplexity is that the other ones can do this at times, but this one definitely links where did they get this information from. So when I click here, I can come and double check. Oh, look, now hiring. They actually join our team. So that one actually linked a platform. But if I come here, 15 paying, perfect. This is up to date. I now know it's up to date, and I can keep going through here to learn some more. So Perplexity is a really great one when you're trying to also find other resources. Not that ChatGPT doesn't do that, but it doesn't do it as often as Perplexity definitely does. So that was why I wanted to show you the different kinds of platforms that you can use and the different kinds of ways you can use it depending on where you are in your job search. Let me go ahead and enter full screen one more time. So Perplexity is really great. It gave a whole rundown of a bunch of different options that SpongeBob can use, and it gave me as to why this matches what you've been telling me about your values and interests. So these are 2 ways that you can use, or 2 processes you can utilize for your career readiness and preparation. As we dive into resume and cover letters, I want to start with a caution. AI does not help AI does help articulate your accomplishments, but if you can't, then we have a problem. What that means is you can copy and paste your resume and cover letter from AI, but when I meet you in person, if your vocabulary doesn't match that, if you are completely different, you cannot articulate your experiences, then we have a problem. Now, resume and cover letters, are they tedious? Yes. Are they exhausting? Yes. Does everybody love them? No. It's a long process. But the purpose of doing the resume and cover letters and reflecting on adjusting these to whatever job you apply for is for your benefit. So when you have your resume and your cover letter adapted to a job, you've worked with AI, you're able to articulate all that information because you have done some prep work utilizing AI as a resource and not the driving key of copying and pasting. One big key thing is with AI, there are common AI words, phrases, and punctuations that we all know now. For those who have used AI, one of the biggest ones are the em dashes that are used and the emoji bullet points. We know that when we see that, the person probably used AI. And if you can figure that out, a recruiter can as well. And right now, when you're applying to jobs, there is an applicant tracking system. It's called an ATS, which is essentially 99% of the companies are using it. That might be an overstatement. There are probably a few that aren't, but a lot of them are using this software to filter out resumes. It is usually the first step before we move to a recruiter and then before the hiring manager. These softwares are now getting trained on AI keywords that can detect if it's your resume or cover letter is using AI. Based off of the way you word it, if you copy and paste it, there's a whole bunch of things that go into that. So we want to be cautious that when you're using AI, you're not copying and pasting, you're looking for those key things that are not AI, it's obviously AI, and adapting it based off of how you actually speak. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. You feel free to answer on your own. I want you to be thinking about, is this bullet point an AI or is it not? So we're gonna try and figure out which one is an AI bullet point. Bullet point A says implemented cross-functional collaboration strategies to enhance workflow efficiency and drive measurable team outcomes. B says worked with marketing and sales so projects didn't fall through the cracks and actually got finished. Which one do you think is AI? If you selected A, you are correct. You can definitely show that this was the original maybe text and that when it was put into AI, it sounds like this. Is this wrong? Definitely not, but cross-functional is one of those keywords that AI uses a lot. Let's try this one. Bullet point A, facilitated weekly after-school science clubs, sparking students' curiosity through hands-on experiments like making bottle rockets. B, led engaging STEM enrichment activities, fostering student enthusiasm and increasing club participation by 40%. Which one is AI? If you selected B, you are correct. Both of these sound really nice, but this one is using, I think the words that are huge usually are fostering is one of those words that tends to be utilized in resumes when they're with AI. Last one, bullet point A, created Excel spreadsheet to track donations and make sure money matched up at the end of the month, or developed and maintained comprehensive donation tracking system, ensuring efficiency, accuracy, and transparency. Which one is AI? If you chose B, you are correct, usually because they've listed 3 things. That's another thing, is that it tends to do 3 things that kind of incorporate a specific skill. Now, if you detected all these correct, what's to say a recruiter can't? So I want you to be cognizant that it is getting way more obvious that AI is being used in different documents. So let's jump into using AI for resume and cover letter support. There are 3 stages we're going to go through. Stage 1 is starting from scratch. We recommend not to do this, not starting from scratch with AI, but you can definitely use it to generate some ideas. For example, you can use it to provide key skills for jobs in a specific industry. So let's say right now you don't have a specific job you want to apply for, but you know you want to go into marketing. You can definitely ask AI, what are some key skills for marketing positions that are entry level that I can utilize to start building a resume? And it can list out several. You could also have a conversation with you to identify your skills based on your past experiences. So you can share maybe things that you've done in quick projects, and you can ask AI, can you tell me what skills you're perceiving from the specific example of what I've done? And that can help you already start to generate some ideas for your bullet points. The last one is you could ask AI to teach you how to articulate your experiences on a resume or cover letter. So let's say you've built out your bullet points and you want some more support on how to articulate it in your resume and cover letter, that they are sharing that information. So I'm going to show you an example of how that looks with the prompt. And this prompt is a lot longer if you notice. Look at that, that's crazy. But the longer is not always the longer the better, but the more detailed, the more helpful. So we have changed the focus. You're a resume strategist, skilled in tailoring resumes and specific jobs. So that's what the AI is going to think like. And based on the job description that the junior analyst at NOAA, customize a resume draft using 3 years of my work experience. And then I gave it specific instructions of what to do. This one is based off an actual job, so I had it copy and paste the job description the job description. So what it did is it identified the keywords and then potential professional experiences, because I did upload I think I put a list. I'm so sorry, I'm going up and down, guys. But I did provide a list of my past experiences. And so it did break it down like, hey, if you did those specific experiences, this is what it could look like. Again, do not copy and paste. This is just to help get ideas of what to look for. Streamlined is one of those keywords that AI does use, so be cautious with that one. But then it gives you what that job description specifically is looking for, and that helps you kind of think about your experiences and how you can tailor to these skills. Now the next one, Step 2 is if you have a draft or another phase and are in the review phase, AI can help you again identify skills from a job description like you just saw that's kind of specific, or create a list of action verbs that you can use from that job description. It could provide recommendations to enhance or improve your bullet points. This one is with caution, so make sure you're not copying and pasting. You can also consider having a conversation on how to expand your key experiences into your cover letter. So that prompt is going to look a little different. We have it as a career storyteller, persuasive writer, and strategic communicator, and we wanted to provide a cover letter into a powerful job. And you can always change, look at this and consider changing a resume, whatever you need and wherever you're at. But this one specifically cover letter and tone and style, persuasive impact. We put the job description, we put the current cover letter that this person has written or in the past, and then from there it provided an example of how it could be worded with a little bit more targeted towards that specific job. So it's a great way to kind of, if you already have a job that you're looking into, you can definitely utilize that to your advantage of like, is this matching up? How can I make it sound a little different? With caution always. And the last one is if you are finalizing, you're about to like submit, you've done all the edits, but you want one last look. AI is a really great way. I love using it in this format of the AI is a hiring manager and determining if you are interview ready with your application materials, telling you whether or not you provided ample details, and it gives great examples. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, of course. There we go. So again, act as a seasoned hiring manager with deep knowledge and deep data analyst, because that's what we're going into. You can copy and paste this, and then of course change the job description, put your resume, being very careful not your contact info, just put your experiences. And what it tells me is immediately what stands out, what's negative because I don't have enough of it. And then if I were to get an interview, it says I'd likely put you in the promising junior pile and how I can improve myself to continue to make sure that I can get to that like definitely interview pile. Now, if you can't do all of these, be cautious. Don't try to just be like, oh, I need to put all of this in. If you don't have any experience specifically in something, please don't try to fake it. That's the last thing we want to do and encourage is because you don't match like 100%, you need to fix all these things. Be cautious because if you don't have that experience, we don't want you lying on your resume either. That's not going to look good on you. The other thing is we at UW pay for JobScan, which is a resource that you can utilize as well as a student. You can upload your resume and it'll give you some great information on how to make sure that it's ATS ready. So JobScan is already a tool that you can access today. No prompt needed. It's just uploading your resume to see where you stand in the hiring capabilities as well as submitting. So those are resources when you're finalizing and you want one last kind of look at everything. But these are the steps you can use AI with, and you can definitely elaborate and expand the prompts, edit them as you see fit based off of what your needs are. And you will have a resource at the end of this workshop that is accessible for you on our website that has prompts you can copy and paste for each of these specific experiences or other career readiness needs. Final do's and don'ts. Do be sure, as I mentioned earlier, remove and redact all personal information before uploading or pasting into an AI platform. This is more of a safety thing. AI doesn't really have copyright or any kind of way of not sharing your information. It is, whoever's in, the people in charge of AI, they want to continue to grow it and grow its mind. So it's going to use all the information we can. So we want you to make sure that you're being safe for yourself. There is usually a settings or an about section that you can go to the privacy settings to turn off share my data with third parties. This is if you log in to the actual account instead of using it without logging in. This is if you want to, pros and cons for that. There are pros and cons. If you log in and create an account, the AI bot is able to use your past conversations and how you write a little bit more efficiently. So it helps you out a lot more when you're using it for, you're training your bot for your resource and support. There are other ways to do that we can talk about in the future. But if you're not logged in, you don't need to worry about this specific one. But if you do, make sure to turn it off. Do provide detailed descriptions of your needs. We talked about efficient prompts to help with reducing the amount of energy and water we spend on keeping the cooling and function of AI databases. And have a conversation with AI. If you don't like something, tell it. Ask for specific adjustments. Don't just take it at face value. Always try to understand and get more. AI is a great resource, but it's not the answer. I keep saying this. It has hallucinations. It does have false information, and you need to be able to critically think, is this the right answer for me and for what I'm looking for? Always. Don't copy and paste. You know this already. Don't copy and paste. You know yourself best. Be sure to be checking the suggestions provided, that they make sense, they're true to your intentions, and they actually sound like you. Don't use AI to write your materials for you. Like we said, hiring managers can detect it. They're getting really good because they see millions of applications a year. Um, be sure that some actually take it as plagiarism, and instead of using it as a tool to make your existing material strong, or just use it to make your existing material stronger, not just start from scratch on writing everything from scratch. It can guide you, like we said, for the resume. It can give you some suggestions and ideas, but don't copy and paste. Try to avoid that. You will get resources. It's on our website, our AI resource. We also recommend scheduling a career coaching appointment with us for more support, more guidance, because sometimes the conversations, yes, it's great. They're really great resources, but having someone you can talk to and can give you accurate feedback as best as possible is super helpful as well. So feel free to schedule a coaching session with us, even after your AI exploration, and tell us how you've been doing with that, and if you've utilized them as a resource and a tool and what it said, because then we can at least validate, support, or enhance that conversation as well. If you can, go ahead and scan this QR code in this survey. Let us know how you did. This is a new workshop. Like we said, it's constantly evolving. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Have a great day.